We are back. We are back. Back to the top 5. I know you guys missed it. You loved it. We love doing it. Top 5. We're bringing it back. It was long overdue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got new faces too.
We had a lot of things going on, and Disney helped us out in the meantime, and I recognized that we needed to get back to it. I miss seeing Denisha on calls, so I had to think of something that she would be interested in doing, and so I was like, you know what? Let's do a top 5. Called her specifically and was like, hey, when are you available for another show? Then we hashed out what they were going to be. Fortunately, that won't come through on the podcast, so this may go direct to podcast. But no, we'll keep this one up as a video as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks of all ages, thank you for joining us back on our top 5s. Today's top 5 category is going to be plot twists. Top 5 plot twists. Joining us, we got a great panel today. Because I know Tony was asking, it doesn't matter. Just we are where we are on the screen. But since everybody's seeing my screen, to my left here we have Tony, or excuse me, not Tap Water, and that's a little inside joke he brought to us. So go check out that Godzilla vs Kong. He can tell you all about it. Tony, say hello.
That movie was okay. Fight scenes was great. But
so we're not giving it a full promotion. Just. Had some moments in it.
You know what? It has some good moments.
You know what? Brian Henry Tyree did a great job in that, and I want him to get a lot more credit for his role in that movie.
I mean, the humans could have not been in the movie and I'd have been fine.
It would have been just fine.
It'd been just fine.
Right over here to my right, you know him. He's been a fantastic host up to this part. He's actually started jumping in on the sports GAG on These Balls podcast. So you can catch these two guys on that show. Joining us again, we have brother Eloise, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, say hello.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Good to be with you again.
I love it. Now, Jeff is actually going to be he's going to be relieved of hosting duties today. We have Judge Dredd down here because he is the law. Will Parker is going to be doing our hosting duties today. Will, are you going to include any movies of your own, or are you just going to keep us in line?
You know, at the end, I'll probably drop a couple of ones that I like that you guys might not have already mentioned.
Okay, good deal. And our special guest host returning, our panelist. So happy to have her back on the show, Denisha. Say hello, Denisha.
Hi. I'm mad I didn't come up with a name.
There's still time. Just get it before it's
just
done.
Change it in the middle of the show.
I know. Muppet Baby Reject.
Hey, the Hoteps is gonna come for you, Tony. You can't be talking about that queen like that.
That's fine. That's fine. All my friends burn faster than me. They come in double digits, so we good.
Gonna be all bean pies outside your house.
That ain't gonna do nothing. Give me
you know what?
Will, I'm handing this off to you now.
That way, everything's all chaotic.
Look, if it gets out of control, it would not be my fault. I'm handing this off to you right now. Will, take it away.
All right, so we doing the top 5, stuff like that. So this is going to be fun. Here's here. Everybody's got some of that. And actually, what I want to do is I'm going to take this in context because usually Tony's left out on the end, and somebody takes something off his list or whatever. So I actually want to start with Tony when we get this going.
Oh, see, that's my
mistake.
I'm the law.
I didn't say it was a good choice. I just said appreciate you. So, am I going now? Can I go now?
Yeah, you go ahead and start it off because we already know what we're getting into. So let's
all right. So my plot twist. I'm starting with my number 1 because I'm sure it should be on other people's list, and I'm going to say one line from it, and everybody's going to know what it is. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
So
The
that was
Usual
my number
Suspects.
one pick as well.
Called it.
Called it.
No,
Actually had that as an alternate because I'm like, somebody is going to pick
That's
it.
why if I didn't go
If you
first,
talk about
it
a
was
plot
going to
twist.
automatically be an ultimate. It was
Yeah.
going to automatically be an ultimate. But my boy hooked me up, so I got it.
Not a
Kaiser
problem.
Sose, Verbal Kid, one of the greatest plot twists I have ever seen. Because if you watch the movie, you're literally following the story of Kaiser Sose from his eyes talking to a detective. And you're none the wiser until he walks down the street with his little limp. Then all of a sudden, he's just normally walking. He gets in his car and he drives off. Oh, it was so great. I screamed at that TV like, no fucking way. So yeah, great. I loved it. It's a rewatch every time it's on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite movies. I mean, I have other ones to choose from that, but that makes just like my personal all-time top 5 list somewhere. That is way up there.
Yeah,
Wasn't on my list.
yeah, that's because you have no class. We already knew that. I knew that
Probably, yeah.
yesterday.
Probably.
I knew that
Yeah.
yesterday.
But I respect it, and I respect, it's played like such a huge part in pop culture. Like you see so many like sitcoms and other types of shows kind of use that, whether it's for comedic purpose. The only thing that's weird to me is when he's like going from like the limp to the regular walk, he like does it gradually, and it's just like you could just start walking regular, but it's like obviously for the effect to gradually go from like the limp to the non,
As he straightens out the hand and he
Yeah.
does a little.
And he's like, give me that.
that.
Yeah, player. It's like pimping the house.
But I think one of the things that actually made that plot twist so effective is when Chaz Palminteri, when that detective goes back in the room and he's sipping the coffee and he's looking at the wall, he starts piecing together the story that he's been told and everything that's on the wall. Literally, my man was making all of that up on the fly. He comes up with this long, elaborate story, and it was all like just spur of the moment, just ad-libbed. And I think that's what made that so much more effective.
Just like that, he's gone. Yes.
Oh, freaking strong start.
Very strong.
Now let's see who we want to go next.
Jeffrey.
Brother Eloise.
Yeah, Lee Sam last.
Are we going from 1 to 5 since Tony did his first one?
Look,
So
In
the way we do this, you better
You
pull out your
usually don't
strong
have
one.
them in an order.
You
So
better
as
pull
long
out
as you
your
drop in
strong one.
5, we good.
You better pull out your strong one
Okay.
because it is a
Well,
competition.
I mean, if somebody
Don't think
picks
it's not.
mine, I'll still make some words. I'm gonna start with my number 5, and
That's
number
the only
5, I'm gonna go with Orphan.
That was
Now,
my alternate. Yep.
I'm not a huge scary movie person.
That was
I know
another
a
one I
lot of
had
people-
for Tony.
Yeah,
I
I'm
had
kind
that
of.
one on alternate though. Good.
I think the way that they, set it up and you like, okay, I get that this girl is like bad, but she's just like kind of a little creepy girl. And then they turn the light on and it's the paintings on the wall is all crazy and she burned the house down. She's trying to kill the kid. But then when she put that dress on and started trying to mac on the daddy,
Yes, sir.
and he was like, ugh, get off me. And it was like stab, 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 stab. And I was like, wait a minute. And they're like, oh, this is actually a grown woman.
Grown
She has
ass
been
woman.
doing this. And
Grown
it's
ass woman.
quasi based on a true story.
Yeah.
Also, which was
This
the
story has
plot
been
twist
told
after
many
the
a
movie.
times. This story has been told many a times. It's been on NCIS. It's been on
Yeah.
Criminal Minds. It's been on a lot of shows. It's
Yeah.
one particular story.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
almost
that was a great twist in that movie because, like, Jeff said, you're watching it, you understand this little girl was creepy. It's called The Orphan. We know she's going to be doing creepy things, but that twist with her being this old ass woman.
And I think that
like
I think the part about it is just like you kind of feel bad as an adult, like talking about this kid, like this little girl, man, F this little girl. And
Not
I hope they knock her. Like, but then when it's like, is she a grown woman? It's like, okay, all bets are off. She's like 67 years old.
Mhm.
F her up now.
Hey,
You know what I say? You know what I say? Fuck them kids.
And this is one of the movies that is actually the appropriate feeling to have from the beginning.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
anytime you have like the Children of the Corn, the Damians, the Omen kind of movies, immediately it's like, you know what, them kids, I
Yeah.
don't even care. I fight that child. Like
Yeah.
we ain't talking like Dennis the Menace here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Not Problem Child. These some killer kids, so it's totally different with them.
Yeah. All right.
That was a good, solid pick.
Yeah, that definitely
I appreciate
was.
that.
That was
All right.
so he good at this. He could do this too. All right, cool.
All right. We're gonna move on to Sam.
No, them last. We go last.
No.
No,
Okay.
I want Sam to go.
No,
We're saving the best for last.
Oh, see, hey, you ain't her height, dude.
See,
You can't
that's
do that.
that pretty boy stuff. I
So
know.
I'm good.
so for me, I like the thriller movies. I like the heist kind of movies, and I think one of the best plot twists was in a movie called Heist, starring Gene Hackman. And when you're following through that movie, you know, they steal this gold and everything. You get to the end and nobody has the gold. And he's just like, okay, well, you know, he's an older retired con man and he's getting out the game kind of thing. And right as he gets ready to leave off, you know, you see his truck is kind of weighed down and he goes to pull the like a little tarp over these poles that he has in the bed of the truck, and you realize that those poles, he had melted all the gold down and had them in these little poles so no one could locate the gold. So he actually like triple crossed and ended up with the gold. So to me, that was one of the best plot twists because everybody was turning on everybody halfway through, and for him to still walk away with it at the end, I was very happy about that.
Yes, we should have done a spoiler.
Oh no, there's
a
First of all,
spoiler thing.
If you haven't seen half these movies, then
Well,
that's on
yeah,
you.
I think I only have one that's new. The rest of
Also-
these, if you haven't seen them,
It's on
Also,
you.
if you're watching a show about plot twists and expecting us not to talk about the plot twists, you might want to rethink.
That's a big ass red flag right there.
now,
Well,
now
you
mind
know.
you, we have that's why I took time to make the disclaimer nice and legible and pretty. None
Can
of
you
that,
imagine
like, faux,
if we had to do this
there.
without? Could you imagine if we had to do this without spoilers? Hey, mine is Usual Suspects. Yeah, that ending
Go
was
watch
great.
it.
That would literally be like, here's a list of movies we like. We'll just call them off. And
Go check
see
them
it.
out. Come back with us after everybody in the general vicinity has watched them. Then we'll make a video talking about the plot twist. I ain't got time for all that.
Negative.
So no. All right. So we got Heist in there with that. Amnesia. What you got?
Hey, my turn. Okay, so this came out in 1992, and I don't know when I actually saw this movie. I know whenever I saw it, it still wasn't appropriate for me to see it. But it got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't think you can talk about a plot twist without talking about this movie. The Crying Game.
Yep, let me mark that. That's my alternate. Good job.
Yep, that one.
I was expecting that one.
That wasn't an alternate because I figured somebody was gonna grab that one.
No,
I
I just put
mean, like I said, you can't talk about a plot twist and not talk about that movie. And it's so great because it dealt with themes that, you know,
would actually hold up.
about
really?
dealing with that in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, if they came out with a movie like that now, okay. But in 1992,
That was very progressive.
girl is the guy. And you're like, what? No.
Okay.
That was right up.
The girl
Well,
was
you
the
know
guy.
what? There's another
That's
one,
the
but
choice.
let me not say it because I don't know if somebody has this on their list. But
Yeah,
that
keep it in the pocket.
Keep it to yourself.
yeah,
All right.
that was a shock.
All right. That was a great one.
All right. So we
And they made sure you knew that it really was a guy. Yeah.
they could just tell me next time.
Yeah, we don't need to find out like
Heavily implied.
Yeah, that
narrator
that was-
voiceover.
Yeah. My name is Bob. You know, like nice deep masculine voice, like
hey, how you doing?
yeah, you know, only yes. All right, Tony, I'm back around
Yo.
to you.
All right, this is where it starts to get tricky because I didn't put no more in order but that number one. Let me stick to the horror genre because you know that's my personal
Your
favorite.
specialty.
Right.
It is. And let's go to one of the most memorable plot twists for me. Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th. And the reason I say this, for some of you people that have not seen this movie and you know the history of Jason Voorhees, who, by the way, did not get his hockey mask to number 3, not number 1 or 2. He wasn't even in the first movie until the end scene because his mom was killing everybody. That right there, when that was revealed, I think the entire theater was like, what in the world just fucking happened? Because everybody knew. Yes, sir. Hey, Jeffrey.
I wasn't gonna touch that, but
do you remember?
That was a
slight. You saw the original cut.
You remember Greenbrier movie theaters?
Yeah.
You know how easy it was to sneak in there?
Oh God.
Yes, sir. Don't lie. They're not around no more. You can tell the truth.
I don't even think I knew Greenbrier had a movie theater.
Oh yeah, you had to go in the mall, go toward the middle, and go downstairs. Yes, sir.
Fucking Greenbrier.
But yeah, that's where I saw it. And when it was in there, we was like, did this just really happen? I mean, you wouldn't think that an old ass white woman like that was throwing people through windows and tying people up, throwing them through windows, hooking dudes up to a billboard with a rocket. I mean, with arrows. I mean, it was great. So
a mother's love can do so much.
Yeah, but if you mention a grown ass man, something wrong. So no. So that's mine.
Friday 13th, got it down. Brother.
All right. So at number 4, I have Black Swan.
Ooh, yes.
So I know somebody else might throw out a movie that has a similar twist, where the twist is basically like this person that you've been thinking is your home girl or your competition or whatever is actually just a complete figment of your imagination, and you actually are doing all this stuff to yourself. There's another more prominent movie out there that, you know, I'm sure somebody might bring up later on the show. However, I feel like this plot twist was done a little bit better to me because I think the catalyst for her psychosis makes more sense to me than the other film. It's like she was actually under pressure and she was actually like, you know, pushing herself to get to like the pinnacle of her profession. And, you know, there's like kind of overlay between like professional sports where it's like there's a small window where you can do this. If you mess up, you got to push through the pain. You got to play ballet injured and do all this other stuff. And it just really did a good job of like showing the mental strain to be like at the top of your game and how quickly like somebody can come and take your spot. And, you know, the lengths that people will go to even like lie to themselves to like stay on top of their game. And then, you know, kind of in the end, when it's kind of revealed that like, you know, she's making all this up and everybody's like, wait, who are you talking about? It's, you know, you go back and you look at some of the other scenes, you're like, oh, this is weird. That's weird. And I think, you know, for me, a good plot twist always kind of makes you go back and look at stuff that you thought you understood earlier in the movie and rethink it. So, you know, that's my pick.
That was a good movie. It did mess with your mind a lot mentally. Like even as you saw her transforming into the swan, you're like, then you have that moment. How much of this is real? Then you think that part of her is what she's making up and not this whole other person in this whole other scenario. But it definitely messed with your mind mentally.
Yeah, when she pulled that feather out of her toe.
I
mean, I had to like look. I get squeamish on stuff like that. So when she pulled the feather out of her toe, when her foot turned into the bird foot and like went back, I was, oh no.
Oh, yes.
No, change the subject. That's nasty.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, but that was that part in the movie that I'm talking about, and you're like, is she pushing herself so much because of this competition that she's losing her mind? You don't really get to the point where you're like, oh, there's not even competition. This is all in her mind.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it did a good job.
It remains a catalyst, as he said, throughout the entire movie, and you just think that she's at her breaking point. You think that she's just slowly slipping into insanity, and then as you get that additional information, you see how pertinent what she thought, the pressure. You see how much pressure that actually is. And that's hell of a pick there. So
That was a very good pick.
that wasn't even one
Thank
that
you.
had
It's my bow.
crossed my mind. So I see you gonna try to do what Tony always does and come up with movies that ain't nobody else got. I see
That's the point.
Okay.
That's the point. I keep telling you, why do we want to say stuff that's
I
in the
just
mainstream?
bring what I like.
And
Some
but
stuff
no,
will be mainstream. Some
my
stuff
thing is-
not so much.
if I happen to pick the ones that I like and they happen to be popular movies, so be it. That's what it's gonna be. But
All right. Well, speaking of that, it's your turn anyway. So.
Uh-oh.
okay.
Okay, Mr. Segway.
So
I
Let me
1994, Bruce Willis plays a colorblind psychiatrist. This movie initially flopped, but it became one of the biggest movies that was purchased, like home release, rental, and things like that, because it was noted for having the Maxim magazine said it had the best sex scene in cinema. Color of Night. So, Color of Night, Bruce Willis is a psychiatrist, and one of his friends is a psychiatrist. That psychiatrist ends up dead, so he's asked to take over those patients. So he gets there and he, meets all these patients, and he meets this mysterious woman named Rose. And Rose is wild. Like, that's where all of the interesting scenery comes from. But they getting it on regularly. So, he's thinking life is pretty good. Things are going well. And people in this therapy group start to die. And they're under his care, so it's a big deal. Later on, we find out that one of the patients, named Richie, is in fact this woman, Rose. And she's been, like, slowly just knocking off, like, she's got basically a personality, multiple personality disorder. So she's these different people. And one of them is the Rose character. Another one is Bonnie. And it's the Bonnie character that starts dating the other patients and killing them off. It's a hell of a movie. And even knowing that information, it's still worth a check out. Like, that's one thing about most of the movies that I'm going to present. Even if you know the twist, it doesn't take away from the effectiveness of the movie. And that's one of those that's, you got to check that one out and see if you can see it along the way.
I think you can. I don't know. It was a good movie. It's just, you're like, of course that's a girl. Of course that's, like, you look at it, it's a little girl. This tiny little boy, it's a girl.
At the time, okay, no.
It's a girl.
Well, I'm not a girl, so
stands
I
by her
can't just
stance.
look and tell it's a damn girl. I live in Atlanta. I don't damn know, okay?
It's a girl. It's a girl. No, it was a good movie, though.
It was.
It was a very good movie. Not for all those nasty things that were happening.
What?
First of all, that makes movies. What?
That was in the
Nothing.
movie.
All right,
happened?
Denisha.
Makes movies.
I mean,
Won't you bring us back to the wholesome side?
It's
of
a
plot
part of
twist
the
then?
it's a part of the story, okay?
Yeah, it is. Okay.
part of the story. Monsters
Came
Ball
out
scene
in-
17. What?
Actually, you know what? The only
wasn't gonna say
Disney
that.
movie, well, actually the first Disney movie with an NC-17 rating.
Jot that down.
Just an interesting point. Go ahead, Denisha, you were saying?
Okay, my movie came out in 2001, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. It had Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey in it. It is called Frailty. It is one of my favorite movies. And I didn't know that Bill Paxton actually directed the film as well. So for people that haven't seen it, it's about basically Matthew McConaughey shows up at the police station and he's like, hey, my brother's this killer. And he's telling the detective about how his father said an angel came to him and bestowed upon him this power that he would be able to see people that had done evil things, and he would need to get rid of them, destroy the demon in them or whatever. And God would protect him. Like, people wouldn't be able to see or remember when they saw him and all this kind of thing. So he's telling the story, and Fenton, it's Fenton Minks that's telling the story. And then we get to the end and we find out that Matthew McConaughey is actually his brother, because he was talking about his brother being the evil one, and needing to destroy his brother and all of this. And his brother took over for the dad. And then we come to find out that actually Matthew McConaughey is the one that took over for the dad. The dad was going to kill the brother, but he could not. But God showed him that the brother was evil, and his brother ended up becoming a serial killer. And so, but the thing with killing people is you had to wait till they were given to you on the list. So you couldn't go outside of the list. And so just that little twist that it was actually Matthew McConaughey who was the killer. And then of course, he was there because the detective was on his list. And so it was a lot of just good little twists and turns. And the last little twist at the end that people, they remembered Matthew McConaughey, but they couldn't remember what he looked like. Like nobody could remember what he looked like. And then the tapes when he came in was all scrambled. So it was just that thing about God protecting them. So very good movie.
Yeah,
that's a good choice.
Frailton,
check
hell
that
of
one
a
out.
call. That was a great pick.
All right.
Y'all be watching these serious movies.
Those are the ones that be like the meat for me and stuff like that. I love trying to figure it out as I go. That's where my rich brain comes from. So, I mean, it's great. All right, freaking Tony.
Okay. I'm gonna change my list up because I want to go another route. So I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna put that as an alternate, and I'm gonna go with one. It's kind of a slow movie. It's a good time burning movie. 83 on Rotten Tomatoes, 77% audience score. Stars Nicole Kidman. It's called The Others. This movie snuck up on me. I literally hit play because I was bored, and I found myself getting drawn deeper and deeper into it as the movie progressed because I started getting confused on what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 2/3 through, I was like, okay, I see what they did. And then when the twist came that Nicole and her kids were actually dead and they were haunting the house of the people. And so all of the stuff that they saw happening was actually the people in real life doing stuff. And so they were being the ghosts, thinking they had ghosts. I think that the way they shot that movie and the entire tone of the movie was pretty much the same all the way throughout. You didn't really have any scares that I really liked. Not a lot, no gore. It was more psychological, this movie. And once you started paying attention and got into it, it just hooked you. And that one for me was one of the best ones I've seen. So yes, The Others.
Yeah, I think it definitely took a while to get there. Like,
it took at least 30, 45 minutes.
The day that
to
mommy
get
went
into
mad. But the way that they started the movie with the maid and the groundskeeper showing up and her going through all the rules and how you got to lock this door when you go through this door and all the windows, all the blinds and stuff are closed. And so like, you're just focused on all of that. It really, and then even when the maid was like, it's time to uncover the graves. I'm getting tired of her,
Right.
like you're still like, what's happening? And yeah, so very good twist on that movie.
Yeah, the fact that they thought they were in a house that was haunted, but in fact they're the ghost.
Oh, they did a good job.
Definitely one of those that like
psychic lady,
Yeah.
with eyes and all. I'm like, oh, this is freaky.
Like I said, it wasn't my normal horror movie that I like. It was more suspense thriller type, but it got me. I was like, okay, I can get behind this one.
All right, got it down, Brother Eloise.
All right, so this is probably, this is one of the more traditional, probably one of the most famous plot twists of all time, and it was actually like literally a plot twist at the very, very end of the movie.
I know it.
Planet of the Apes.
That's the one I just took off on, boy.
The revelation
not even lying.
that
Right there.
they were on Earth the entire time. Just because, I think with like alien planets and, as if you watch any of the other stuff I've been on, everybody knows I'm a big Star Trek guy. So I'm all about what is the story we're trying to tell through these aliens and stuff like that. And the idea that Earth is not necessarily ours and it's going to be ours as humans forever, and the fact that there could be something that happens that flips everything on its head was just like fascinating to me. And it really, I mean, I actually really enjoy all the like Planet of the Apes like prequels, like that spawned off of like Caesar and all that stuff, just because I'm fascinated by the story of how we get to the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes like planet where all the apes are like fully functioning and like advanced and things like that. So I was already, invested in the story when it's like, yeah, like this is actually Earth. But I'm sorry, I was already invested in the story. I'm like, we're on this alien planet where like apes have the same kind of society as us. But then at the very, very end, I think having a plot twist that's at the very end that doesn't get explained oftentimes is fascinating too, just because you get to make up stories in your own mind and have like those kind of conversations later. You get to red string it, you know, cross promotion. Um, so yeah, I just found that very, very interesting as a plot twist, and just because so many other movies have used something similar, and because of the importance of that, like just in our culture, all the way down to like Simpsons Planet of the Apes musical that they had on the show that one time.
Yeah, it was Earth all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a good movie because it does cause you to have that conversation. Like you said at the end, you're like, well, they are sending apes to space and stuff. And if you believe in evolution, like how far are we away from something like that happening? So,
or how long before they watch us and
killing
figure
each
it
other.
out?
So,
because clearly, just to tie in what Tony was saying earlier, like if the gorillas and the monkeys watch long enough, they'll pick up ALS, and they'll just automatically be communicating, and if over time that will pick up on its own. They'll teach one another, they'll use tools, and it's just slow progression. I think the idea that we saw the astronauts and they really focused in on the astronauts initially and the crash landing, that helped sell the idea of being on a foreign alien planet. And it was that seed that got planted that we were able to let blossom into being, that there's somewhere, ooh, what planet is this? And
Right.
that took away the that caused us to take away the possibility that it would be Earth. And to come back and see at the end that that moment of revelation, like you said, now you have to fill in that gap. Like, well, how was he in space so long? He must wormhole and black holes, and gives you something to talk about at the end. So
the Chris Pratt face at the end, just
yeah,
it's great. All right, Sam.
So I have three that I want to pick, and I have to pick my favorite of the three. So we're gonna go with Richard Gere, Edward Norton. Y'all know I love this movie.
You sure do.
I already picked it.
Primal Fear. I will continue. This is another one of my all-time top fives, so that's why. Primal Fear. Edward Norton is a choir boy, or the little kid that holds the incense or whatnot, and he's actually been arrested for the murder of a cardinal or somebody. I mean, it's not a pope, but one of the fathers,
somebody in the church.
Somebody in the church. And it's like a very gruesome scene. And, when we first get to see Edward Norton in the cell, he's sitting there all timid and scared. And, and you're looking and you're like, there's no way this guy did this. Like, look at him.
I lost time. Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, okay, well, then we kind of follow through, and, Richard Gere is this high profile lawyer who wants to take on the case, and he's never lost. And finally he figures out that, oh, I knew what happened. He's got dissociative personality disorder. He didn't do it. This other side of him did it. And so he pushes, they're in court, and he's puts him on the stand, and he's talking to him, really pushing him. Edward Norton snaps in the courtroom, tries to attack Richard Gere the whole nine. I mean, we see that other character come out, and it's like, whoa. And so you're like, okay, so he's, he gets him off on like an insanity plea, and he's going to go to a mental institute instead of going to jail. He goes back to visit, and here's the plot twist. That whole like disassociative personality, that was a twist, because he actually doesn't have that. He thought Richard Gere was just trying to get him to do that to get off so that he wouldn't go to jail. Kid's just actually a sicko, and he just like murdered this cardinal. And it is like one of the best. Like you see the courtroom scene and you think that's like the big twist, but then the visit afterwards, that's the real twist. And it's like everything you thought you knew just now, gone. Because here's the real. Love that movie. Such a fantastic.
Because you're like pushing for Edward Norton to get off, because you're like, okay, this sweet little boy just turns into this monster. He tried to get, the insanity plea, but they had already pleaded. So he's like, okay, he had to push him in court for them to show the two sides, and it was good.
It was an episode of Matlock like that.
Oh, you went back with Matlock.
And
that could be where it started from. Maybe that was the inspiration. Ain't nothing new under the sun,
All right, Primal Fear dance with that. Denisha.
So my next one's actually, it's not a movie, so I'm kind of diverting a little bit, only because it just came out. And so if people haven't, I'm not going to give away the twist on this. Hopefully you guys have seen it.
What is this?
Netflix.
What?
It's on Netflix. It's called Behind Her Eyes.
Pie in her eyes.
Behind her eyes.
What
happens is,
I was like, what?
It sounded like an earlier post somebody had.
It was actually rhubarb.
No, it was cream.
this girl meets this guy in a bar. They have a good time, and a kissing happens. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm married. I can't do this. Turns out
I know what you're talking about.
Shows up at work. This guy is her boss. So, of course, eventually they end up having an affair, and then she becomes friends with his wife. And then there's a whole just mess of things happening. But the moral of the story is mind your own business. Just watch it. It's very interesting. It just came out, earlier this year.
I think I watched like part of the trailer, or I was trying to watch the trailer to see what that was. And I think it just did have a trailer, just went right into it. The girl's like in the office with the spaghetti stain or something. And
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna check that out.
If you need the plot twist for this, think like Skeleton Key.
Wait, is this a movie or a show?
Because it's a series, right?
Yeah.
It's a series.
So it's like a limited series, like a 6-part series type deal or something like that?
Yeah. It's a limited series.
Okay, I'll allow it.
So we're not going to go with like season 3 of Behind Her Eyes or anything.
Yeah. Well, it's not a seasonal thing, but it's just in parts.
But if you enjoy like magic, mystical, like I said, like the Skeleton Key type of aspect, then you'll enjoy that movie.
All right, we'll let it ride. I'll have to go check this one out, make a note.
Okay, well don't say any more on that, but a great plot twist in that, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Mm.
So, I know the wife was looking real creepy in the little trailer I saw for it. So, okay.
There's 2 twists too. So like once you figure out what's going on, oh no, but wait, there's more. It's very good.
Cool.
All right, we'll leave it at that. All right, now I'm gonna throw Tony for a loop here, and I'm gonna go to you, Sam.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
All righty.
Formal protest.
I am the law.
Informal protest.
Sam, come on.
Okay, so in another one of those, it's all in their head. Leonardo DiCaprio, 2010.
I'm good. I want to take it.
I don't know. It's something about going to mental institutes or asylums that kind of give you an idea that things are not always what they seem. Leonardo DiCaprio is a U.S. Marshal who is investigating I think it's a series of murders or a murder that took place at this asylum. And his partner, Mark Ruffalo's character, is, a U.S. Marshal who's just been assigned to assist him. And they go through and they are doing all this investigation to find what's happening. And the more Leonardo, the more his character tries to find out about the asylum itself, the more questions actually get generated because he can't get access to this or answers to that. And we find out later that all of this is just an elaborate ruse. Get to use that word in a sentence. All of this is just an elaborate ruse to, in fact, it's like a new treatment for him. Turns out he's, in fact, in the asylum as a patient, and he's there for murder. And so in order to get him to, he ended up being having this dissociative personality. So he thinks he's this U.S. Marshal, and they're just trying something new to see if they can get through to him to help him regain his grasp on reality. And when you get that portion of the reveal, you're now so invested in what's going on with this crazy asylum. What are they doing to these people? Only to realize that oh, he's the patient. And so now it makes sense why Mark Ruffalo was just the worst U.S. Marshal ever. He was just so poorly prepared to be on this job, but now you get why. And that was a hell of a twist. And I really, really enjoyed that movie.
How heartbreaking was that movie though, when you find out why he killed his wife and that whole scene plays out. But the best thing about that movie was the last line that he said, is it better, to die a good man or die a criminal, type of thing. I don't remember the exact thing that he said, but when we find out, because the whole thing, they're trying to snap him out of to stop going into these places and to realize what he's done. And they're going to see if it took. And so he's talking to Mark Ruffalo and then acts like he went right back into being this marshal again and he didn't snap out of it, only to reveal that, he did realize what he had done, but he was going to go ahead because they were going to lobotomize him if he didn't snap out of it. And so he would rather have died a good man than to live as a monster, I think, or something like that is what he said.
Which would be worse?
Remember what he did and his children dying and all that. Yeah. Go ahead, Sam. What was the line?
Which would be worse, to live as a monster or die as a good man?
Yeah. So that moment, it's just completely heartbreaking, just to realize what happened, and then to also realize that he knows he's walking into getting lobotomized because he'd rather just not remember.
Yeah, I ain't want to get into the heartbreak of it. I wanted to get into the plot twist.
Well, the end is the plot twist too.
Yeah.
Denisha's so sad about it. Or Denisha, since you're
right,
feelings and stuff about it, stuff like that. You go ahead and tell me
sorry.
What you got next.
Myself.
Wait, you just gonna leave me off again?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you off again. Don't worry.
Form of protest.
I don't care. Denisha.
Oh, we're going back to me again?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with Atonement. It came out in 2007, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if you've seen it, but basically this nosy little girl thinks she saw something she didn't see, which causes this guy to go to jail. That was in love with her sister. He was like barn help or farm help or something, and they're rich.
Farmhand.
A farmhand. That's it. Thank you. And him and the sister were in love, and her little sister sees everything and thinks that he's a sex maniac that he actually like raped her sister. And then later on, one of their friends actually gets raped, and she tells everybody what she saw. So they accuse him, and he goes to jail. And then he gets out of jail only to go to war. Her sister became a nurse in the war, and you're seeing the story unravel. And then basically, eventually, the little girl is able to realize what really happened, and clear his name, so to speak. But the twist is none of that happened. They both died in the war, so they never got to be reunited. She never got to clear his name, and it's just like, it's a little sad. It's a little sad.
That's all these heartbreaking, stories.
Well, there's another.
It's just because you think it's this great love story and retribution and all of this, and then you go, then it's just Vanessa Redgrave. Well, no, they both died. I wanted to write them a happy ending since I'm the one that ruined everything.
We'll take that. We're gonna move on to Brother Eloise.
All right.
Let Tony go. Come on, man. What are you doing? Come on.
It's a snake draft. No, I'm gonna go. Mine is a movie from 2017. Probably a less traditional choice, but Coco, the Pixar film. So I know, first of all, many tears shed in the theater while watching that one at the very end. But Miguel, the story of Miguel, a young boy who loves music, and his family is just like, no, he's been in the Mexican Footloose family, and it's just like no music. So he ends up in the land of the dead, and he thinks that Ernesto de la Cruz, the world's like the biggest music star, is his like grandfather. He's done all these like clues. He red stringed it and came to the conclusion that Ernesto de la Cruz must be like related to him in some way. And it just basically turns out that Ernesto actually like poisoned his great grandfather, who was the guy who was helping him the entire way across the movie to find Ernesto. And Ernesto and Miguel were not Ernesto and Hector were actually like partners, and all the stuff that everybody thought about Ernesto was actually Hector. And a happy ending for everyone, which I think is kind of shocking for a plot twist, because a lot of times these plot twist movies end up being psychological thrillers, or we're in an insane asylum, and the plot twist is I really am crazy and I really did kill all these people. But this plot twist is actually like, no, you actually come from a musical family, and music was important, and he didn't just leave. So it's like Hector gets a happy ending because he doesn't just disappear. He gets to be reunited with his family. Mama Coco gets a happy ending because she gets to hear like her father's songs again. The family gets a happy ending because they don't have to just make shoes.
See, I can't hear nobody. Can you hear? Hold on.
We can hear you.
All right, there we go. This is what happens when you
have technical difficulties. If you just set your ass down, wouldn't have this problem. Anyway, at least
this is what happens.
If you just listen to the host of the show, then stuff like that.
No problems with that.
Anywho, Coco, that's my choice. I think, and it's rare because it's a happy ending for a plot twist. So that's my choice.
Yeah.
Coco was a happy ending?
Yes.
The grandma died. That's not happy about that.
But she was reunited with her family on the other side.
Fuck that.
And Miguel, wait.
Still only get to see her once a year.
But look. No, but she gets to be with her parents.
Okay, it's a happy ending for her, not for the damn family.
Hector.
It's happy ending for
grandfathers.
Everybody else
happy ending. Okay, you weren't on the call.
It's a happy ending for everybody who watched the movie except your ass.
Ernesto gets a happy ending. No, Ernesto is the only person who doesn't get a happy ending. Hector gets a happy ending because he doesn't disappear. Miguel gets a happy ending because he gets to play music. The family gets a happy ending because they get a bunch of money because they find out that their ancestor actually like made all those songs that everybody loved. Mama Coco gets a happy ending because her parents are reunited. She's not a child of divorce anymore on the other side. And even though The family only gets to come back once a year. They are all together on the other side. So who's not happy?
The family that lost the grandma.
Besides Ernesto. Why
But
they not
they
happy?
know.
They rich now.
Fuck that.
And they get to see her
Money ain't
once a
about
year.
money.
And
all
the
that.
Grandma was already look.
and
Grandma
the
had a good
ofrenda
life.
is complete.
Grandma had
Yeah, I
a good
understand
life.
she might have been 120 years
I was
old.
about to say Grandma had a good
And they
life.
got
Understand.
and they got to hear Mama Coco sing, which none of them had ever heard before when Miguel came back. And then she pulled out the diary, and that's how they got all the money.
60-40 happy ending. But best I can
Okay,
do.
what's your movie so I can argue?
I was about to say, please let Tony go.
Oh, he's been talking. God damn.
Damn y'all.
You
What
taking
was I
out
talking
on me.
about?
You should be mad at your technology.
Makes you mad at himself. Fucking up his technology.
First of all, I'm happy my
What's your
Wi-Fi
movie?
dropped.
What's
Yes.
your movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm
You know,
gonna
his
go.
movies pass. Okay, so I'm going with.
I'm gonna shut up. Formal protest. All right, I'm gonna take Denisha's route. I'm gonna go with a Netflix movie that I like.
Okay.
Came out in 2017. Had William Dafoe in it. What Happened to Monday?
Ooh.
That was good.
Yeah, I like that.
That
really
movie.
good.
I mean, Jeffrey, have you not seen this?
Nope, that's why I'm Googling.
And I put that on to like just put it on. I didn't,
But
like
if you look, put it to you like this.
I
It's
put it on because of the
kinda
cast.
I mean, the cast was great. Glenn Close. I mean, just great. She played one of the best antagonists that I have seen in a while from her. It's right up there with her Cruella de Vil. Honestly, it's basically.
I like Numi personally, but
just
Okay.
watch. I wouldn't even give the plot twist on this one. I just let him watch.
I mean,
it.
yeah,
It's
that's
so
what I was trying to think.
good.
Should I?
you know what?
Or
Just
should not.
kind of describe the story.
All right. Well, basically, it's the America has gotten to the point where they're running out of resources, and
They didn't have a
Family.
Thanos.
they didn't have a Thanos. And families are only allowed one child per family. If you have multiple children, you keep the oldest, and the other children are taken away by the government for storage.
Like cryogenic storage.
Yeah, cryogenic storage. Well, with I can't remember his name, William Dafoe's family, they had 7 children.
Seven
And of
twins.
course, 7
Septuplets.
twins. We can't septuplets. So it's like they all look exactly alike. Shit was ridiculous.
Mhm.
So instead of them giving up 6 kids, they went into hiding. And Defoe was this fucking engineer or whatever the hell he do, but he made a hiding compartment in his house. And he named the kids Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They all had to be exactly alike. They all had to dress the same. They could only go out on their day. They all had to learn the same job. But the problem is they all had different personalities. They all were very different. And so one of the biggest things that got me into was one of the kids went outside on her day, broke her finger, and it was hanging off. So you know what that means? She's missing a finger. All 6 of y'all got to cut off your fingers now. You all got to look identical. And I mean, after that, you really can't
do
say
it.
nothing else. You're not gonna watch it.
No, I mean, I'm saying I wouldn't do it. I'd be just
but
be
you
like-
got to.
I'm keeping my
got to.
finger.
You got to. You
I'd
had
be
to
like,
give up.
I'd be like, you
Everybody
you
else's
Wednesday-
life is at stake.
I'm gonna
All
just be
your
like,
siblings' life is at
you
stake.
Wednesday and Thursday. Man. I'm gonna just chill at home. I'm done.
No, she would have
You
to.
can have my day.
Nah,
I'ma
the
chill at
thing
the
is,
house.
it's not it's not just if they found out you had kids, they taking everybody away.
No,
Parents, children, you're all gone.
I know. That's
So-
why I'm gonna just stay in the house and keep my fingers.
So, yeah, we can't give away this. Just watch the movie. Just watch it.
Mhm.
Just
Monday.
watch it. What
right.
happened is what happened to Monday.
All right, Tony. The fuck with you, let you do back to back. Go and get your 5th one out.
Oh, hell. Why my audio working? All right, so let's go back to the 1960s. One of the first movies that I saw, of course, is my genre,
I have to imagine it, but
Psycho.
Here it is.
There it is. You knew it was coming. I was thinking
Mhm.
somebody was gonna take it. Norman
somebody.
Bates.
I mean, it's funny because I'm like, well, shoot, if ain't nobody else gonna say it, I'm
That's what's like.
I had it on my list here.
I literally was like, nobody's gonna say this. Well, I'm gonna take it as my last choice. So yeah, Norman Bates, and a lot of people who who watched the movie only remember the plot twist. They remember the shower scene and the plot twist. They don't remember that the lady was actually on the run from the law from embezzlement with her and her boyfriend. They don't know that was the actual storyline. They just happened to end up at this hotel with this crazy motherfucker who's killing people. Just their bad luck. So yeah. And back then I think it was like $50,000, which isn't a lot now, but back then in the 60s it was a considerable amount of money. And Psycho, that rounds out my list after all the shenanigans that Will pulled. I thought was cool. That's all right though.
I mean, I gave you the double at the end. I mean,
that's like Joker giving Batman a hand job. What you talking about? What?
A reach around.
A reach around. I didn't
want to feel the reach around.
Okay. Who else would be your friend?
Oh Lord!
All right,
you know, we had to bring it in.
Yeah, no, Psycho's iconic for real though. Yeah.
I think that when people think of like plot twists in movies, the fact that like he was the mother, you know,
and she was dead all along.
Right. Well,
in the rocking chair, it
seems like
I wouldn't even hurt a fly.
It seems like she's just this super strict mom, and you know what I'm saying? Like he's just this horrible mama's boy, to find out that he was the mother.
Norman, I know having conversations with himself.
I'm doing nothing, mother. I'm just
working.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really see like.
So why do y'all have a hotel?
I need to know how he could throw his voice like that, because he was throwing it all over that place.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in the same room. He was like, talk over there. Said some bullshit. So, Norman, bring me my slippers. No, bro, bring them yourself. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Brother Eloise.
All right. My number one. Somebody mentioned Jordan Peele earlier. Get Out.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought that, you know.
Haven't seen it.
Shame on you.
It's certain things I can't watch. That being one of them. I read about it. I know about it. It's just certain things that I just can't do. It does things.
No, I feel you. I mean,
understand.
And I mean, I think the thing about the movie is I think people went into it thinking it was going to be like some sort of suspense, but you didn't really get an idea of like what the true suspense was. It was just kind of on some Stepford Wives type thing where it's like some weird stuff is happening in this neighborhood and I don't know what's going on. And I think it's really a twist on like that Stepford Wives trope.
And I think was good.
The scene where you kind of find out that they're basically like putting white people brains in black people bodies is one of those twists where it's not just like, I think it was one of my first times seeing a twist and not just being like, but just being like, what the F, kind of crazy type. And it was just like everybody in the theater was just looking around. And I mean, it was, you know, top 2 in theater experience, you know, because it was people talking at the screen and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, once you figure out what happens, I kind of just chalked it up to like, all right, that's my man Daniel Kaluuya. He's going bye-bye. And then he gets out and, you know, even the scene where it's like, give me the keys, you know, and then you find out she's in on it too. And then you find out the maid and the groundskeeper is really the grandma and the grandpa, and they've been switched out. But the biggest one is when them police lights come at the end, and you know I'm not white, so I don't know how white people felt in that moment, but I know every black person I talked to, there's like that moment, my heart just like sank to the bottom of my stomach because I was like, this man done did all this to get away, and we already know it's about to happen. Then rolled up is just nothing but dead white people and 2 old black people dead up here, and the only person alive. He got blood all over him. We already know what's about to happen. So when it's
you can tell me what happened because I'm not watching this.
No, you think it's a cop and it's his homeboy who he's been talking to.
Oh, the big dude, the one that was coming. Okay,
yeah, and so it's like, all right, man. And then it's like, now I don't know what's gonna happen after that because you still got this house full of dead people. / I think the daughter was not dead, if I may be remembering it right. I don't know, but. Yeah, I thought that plot twist was handled well. It was a clever plot twist, and it was handled and hidden well. And you know, like I said before, I think good plot twists definitely make you go back and rethink a lot of stuff you were seeing earlier in the movie. So even the opening with like Lakeith, you're like, oh, he was like one of them, and they done got, you know, they body snatched him. So I thought it was just like a very clever way to tell a specific story, and the twist was well done. And you also got to leave with like a little bit of optimism, because like the whole situation messed up, and there's still a bunch of like white people inside of black bodies throughout whatever that neighborhood is, but our guy got away, and
maybe something can be done
really
about
ask
it.
for.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Come back with some flashing lights and
Yeah.
come back with a strobe
I kind of
light.
figured somebody was going to say that one. I'm how many people we got left? Because there's still one here. I'm like, really? Nobody's going to say this one last one I'm looking at?
I think we'll just leave that one for an honorable mention because nobody said it because everybody expected someone to say it.
I think Sam knows which one I'm talking about.
Of course. This is what we've already talked about. Like,
no. It's another one.
I'm sure it's one of my alternates.
Oh, we gonna see freaking.
Okay, well, I still got one.
Now you see me. I'm just kidding.
All right, so we'll go ahead, Sam. We're gonna go to Sam and say that, and then I'm gonna wrap it up at the end and see how we fared.
So, if you're a fan of magic,
that's one. That's one of them. Yep.
If you're a fan of magic, there's a movie
Magic
that
Johnson,
stars Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. It is called The Prestige.
Up.
And there are two really big twists, and both of them, I almost want to like not say them because they're so good.
You have to say it.
I mean, you don't have to if you want people to go and check out some of these movies. So that's fine. But
when did this one come out? You know what? Let me.
It came out in 2006.
Okay, okay. It's been long enough. You should have.
It's been decades.
Yeah,
come on, man.
You should have seen this by now. So these two magicians, they're competing magicians. Or, they're always trying to one up the and we find out that this very incredible trick is basically it's I guess like the origination of the origin of the disappearing act, where you walk into the magic cabinet, you close the door, and then you open it and no one's there, only for him to be in the audience 100 feet over there. And it's like, what? So everybody's like blown away by this. Later on, we find that the other magician has learned to do this trick through the help of his friend Nikola Tesla. My man been making clones, and he's just been killing the clones, getting rid of the bodies. So he's doing the trick by having a body double. He creates this clone, and it's the clone that ends up dead, and he goes on and he gets to, have the prestige at the end. He has the flourish, and he shows that, hey, I can do this trick too. But he can't figure out how, that was Hugh Jackman's character. He's like killing these clones. He can't figure out how Christian Bale's character was able to do this same trick if he doesn't have that technology. And at the end of the movie, we find out that Christian Bale has a twin brother. And it's just like very basic showmanship. And you know what I'm saying? Kind of one of the, like I want to reference something, but I won't because we want to. So it's just, it's just very basic showmanship. And, you see that there's this girlfriend, a side chick. And then of course you come to realize that the twins, because they're having to be the same person, they're having to double for that person, actually have different relationships with different women, and they respond and react to them differently. It is such a fantastic movie, and The Prestige is without a doubt one of the best plot twists because it had two twists, and it was just like, what?
And I think so we learned what a prestige was anyway, because I didn't know that's what when you bring it is the prestige and all of that. But it starts off with that feud because Hugh Jackman's, it was his wife, right, that died from the knot.
Right.
And like he kept asking Christian Bale, what knot did you tie? And he's like, I can't remember. And that was because he wasn't the one that did the knot. And then you have Christian Bale's wife, you know, she ends up doing what she does because she's like, you know, you don't love me today. And she would say that, like, today is not the day that you love me. And you could tell. And then, you know, the stuff with the kid at the end, and one brother sacrificing himself because Hugh Jackman set him up, remember, with the body doubles for murder, because he just had this long going feud with him. And so he set him up for murder, and one brother sacrificing himself for the meaner brother sacrificed himself for the other brother. And it just, yeah, great movie.
Great movie all around.
Her analysis of the movie was far better than mine. But it was a good movie, and that's proof right there. She just broke it down for you.
He was very passionate about that.
All right,
It's on my list.
Yep, you're on.
I saw when she picked her pen up, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I could have went with my other one. My bad.
No, it's fine. That great minds think alike, for sure.
Okay, Denise.
He's gonna go, and then I'm gonna circle around.
Okay, so my last pick came out in 1998, and I'm definitely sure I wasn't supposed to be watching this movie. Only 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, but whatever. You want to talk about iconic sex scenes? This movie has it. Wild Things.
Oh! I thought you had a different one. Okay, but yes, hell yeah.
Because it was a double cross on, and I think I know what you two were thinking about, but
I think I know.
Me?
double cross on the double, you know, it's like, oh,
It's the end of the list. Go ahead,
them,
Mark.
and now we double cross them, and then
I'm innocent. The
I
hell?
don't know what y'all, but
No, it's one of my honorable mentions. I thought you were saying that one. Then I thought about the year, and I was like, okay, no, that can't be it. But yes, Wild Things. Double cross, triple cross.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cross and cross. It's like, oh, they set the teacher up. We don't know if the teacher did actually do anything. Then the teacher sleeping with the mom, and then he with the rich girl. They setting her up. They setting the mom up. It's the three of them, and then Nev Campbell comes out on top. That's it, because everybody thought she was this stupid poor girl, and she got it in the end. So,
All right, well,
my last pick.
got it set
I
up.
was
So
gonna say the one with what's the one with Reese Witherspoon?
right, like I said, for
What, Cruel
this is honorable
Intentions?
mentions.
Honorable mention.
Cruel
man.
Intentions. That's
Cruel
what I thought
Intentions,
you was
yeah.
gonna say.
Oh, freaking
Plot twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
No. Okay.
It's got enough.
Yeah.
It's got enough of one to be considered.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So
All right.
are we up to honorable mentions?
Yeah, saying what you got.
So for my honorable mentions, and we're just gonna honorable mention for the group. No one actually said Sixth Sense.
Yeah,
And
There it
so-
is.
And so only because that one was like super
it's so
easy.
meta. It's too on the nose.
Right. It's super easy, you know. But I do want to give credit to Sixth Sense in being that
One of his few good movies.
like
Yeah.
one of two that come to mind.
yeah.
Die Hard.
But the fact that you get through the entire movie and you could at this point it's completely memed out. I see dead people and Bruce Willis's character is a dead person. When you go back and watch that movie with that information, you still have a hard time being able to determine that he's dead. And it's not until you start like really paying attention and noticing that he doesn't touch certain things, or, you know, the way he interacts with people. He's always standing just to the side. The way people address his presence, but not him. It's really well done. And even now, I think it still holds up with that information to go back and watch it and still be impressed by that twist. And to me, I think that's one of the things that makes a really, really good plot twist. So Sixth Sense, I'm just going to give that an honorable mention from the group because I think everybody thought about it, but everybody thought someone else was going to say it.
No, I took it out because M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, that part.
First of all of his movies have great plot twists. He's just a sham at everything else.
All of his movies do not have great plot twists. The Village
Yeah.
is not a great.
The Village?
plot
That
twist.
is a great. I like
It's
that
not
stupid
great.
ass. I like that
It's not
stupid
great.
ass.
You like
Signs
it,
was a
but
good
that don't
movie.
make it great.
Forgive.
Signs was a good movie.
Saying what else is on the list.
Identity.
Uses that as a crutch.
Identity. Okay.
Identity with
good.
John Cusack. That was another one of those that.
That's another multi-watch one.
Yeah, and this was the one I thought you were getting ready to say Angel Heart.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke and
Yes.
that's
a sex scene.
Y'all just go watch that movie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dang, top 5 sex scenes or what?
Hey, we can do that.
I mean, look, the fact that
We can do that.
No,
I
we
could
can't.
literally name 3 right off the top doesn't mean that
Heavy metal.
y'all already look. I just said heavy metal's on one of my lists.
So
We got Identity. No, but Angel Heart and Identity are two, but they both have legitimate plot twists. And Angel Heart is one you don't see coming.
Right. Agreed. That's a good one.
all right, so everybody's got their top 5 for plot twists and stuff like that. I'm gonna throw out a couple that freaking have their plot.
You better
twists
say
and
it.
stuff like that.
You better say
I'm gonna
it.
see freaking if any of these catch anybody stuff like that. But certain movies I was surprised and stuff like that. My number 1 was Memento.
Yes.
Like that.
Thank
That
you.
is
And the fact that no one
Thank
said
you.
it really threw me for a loop. I was
I
like,
was
hey,
kind of waiting
hey,
on that one too.
Hey, it's
It's
right
on my
there,
list.
homeboy.
It's on my
It's
list.
right
yep,
there.
seven.
Okay, so
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
There's the other one. So I was going through a couple of
Oh,
years.
I got a
like,
solid list, dude. I had like 15. Y'all thought I was kidding. Y'all thought
Oh no, this
So-
was for me. This was an
This
easy one to do. This
Yeah.
is my genre of movie. So
Yeah.
it was
This is where we
tough
had
for
fun
me.
for
I
that.
to get a
Nope.
5 out of the ones that I know was mind-boggling. I was like,
Nope.
damn.
All right,
I
freaking.
think
All right, well, she got Will.
What freaking? I was looking to see if I was gonna say Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back.
Thank you. That's the one I was
I was
waiting
like,
on.
why?
I thought y'all nerds was gonna
Sam, you
say it.
disappointed me there.
That's the one I
Like,
thought Sam was gonna get.
I thought you was going that way, but you didn't. I
That's the
feel
one I
kind of
thought
slighted
Sam was
for
gonna
you
get.
saying
I'm mad
that
about that one.
So
as a
Nick-
plot twist,
I mean, it's enough of a plot twist during that time frame. Watch that movie, especially as a kid and stuff like that.
Because you
just
never
kinda, like,
see it coming.
you don't see it coming and stuff like that for us anyway. So for anybody else now, they'd be like, oh yeah, whatever. But us in that moment, in that case, so it's kind of like, the fuck, really? Like,
I guess it's just like that is such an automatic part of life for me that you know what I'm saying? I don't
But
even.
I'm like, Sam's gonna say this one, he's gonna say this one, so it's no point. And then you didn't say either one of them. It's like, God damn.
so
I mean,
that
no.
was-
Memento was on my list. I have another Jordan Peele, and that's the one I thought that Jeffrey was.
I
gonna
have
say.
another. That's the one I thought Jeffrey was gonna say. I got that one too.
I did have and 7. That of course that
7,
was
yeah,
on the
we-
list.
What's in the box? Yeah.
I mean,
What's
look.
in
The
the box?
thing is,
You
you
have
all
anything
heard
else,
some of the
Will?
movies I've talked about, so you like definitely. I was trying to leave some,
I mean, it's
but
like
pick some.
it doesn't have to be like the best ones. It's just like the 5 that you
They-
feel.
yeah, the
It's almost
five
like
that
the
come to
5
mind
you
is
feel
that.
like represents you and your
I mean,
personality the best.
and that's what it comes
That's why
down
I
to.
had all
It's-
them sex scene movies.
That
Look, them 3 over there. We got to
Wait a minute.
Some-
How did I get into this? I'm an angel.
Man, this
Oh,
sex
wow.
scenes all in.
Look, I'm gonna take it back
Anyway.
wholesome.
That Jason movie.
Let's do.
Will,
a
did
couple
you
for the
have any
kids.
more?
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out a couple freaking plot twists for the kids, just like he did with Coco. I think Wreck-It Ralph was a nice little plot twist for the kids and stuff with King Candy.
That was a good one.
and stuff like that. And Frozen was a nice little plot twist with that with the prince, because you wouldn't expect that in a Disney movie at the time. They were more about the, oh, it's freaking you random stranger. And it was like, nah, fuck that shit. And literally showed him to be a bad guy. And it was kind of like, okay, freaking, like, I see why you doing something. So
Okay.
a lot of good plot twists and stuff here and there. So something to definitely check out and stuff like that. I want everybody to take a chance to review these movies and stuff like that. What I'll probably do is try to pin a comment with a few from the list, and I'm not gonna give you all. You got to watch the video to get them all, so like that. But I'll probably pin a few, so just so you can see what we're talking about, and then we'll wrap up the video from there. So we what else you got, Tony? Anything else, Tony?
I'm saying I just got a couple.
What you
Of
got,
course.
Tony? Come on,
Saw.
Saw.
I had Saw.
I know. I thought somebody was gonna say Us.
That's the one. That's the one.
When
I
he
thought
mentioned the
Jeff-
other Jordan Peele movie,
That's
I was like,
that's what he thought. And of course, Fight Club.
Definitely.
Fight Club definitely freaking, and I think it was so freaking. It's a cult
I thought
movie.
people were gonna
Everybody
say
should have
that.
seen it. and
Yeah,
That's
stuff
why I
like
was
that.
like,
I think it's up there. It's what
That's what I was referring
That's
to
why we
when
didn't
I
say
was,
it.
when I
Like,
was talking
honestly-
about Black Swan.
Fight
Right.
Club, Memento. Well, Yeah, Fight Club, Memento, and Seven, Sixth Sense. Like those are the movies that people automatically think of when they think of plot twists. And the likelihood that people haven't seen those movies is kind of minimal. I think some of the ones we've mentioned today, and that's one of the things I do love about these. I have movies on my list now to go and check out. And that's
You got
one of the
also,
things I always look for. So
I got the
Denisha
last
always give
two
me
is
something to watch.
is a Netflix movie called I Care a Lot.
I Care a Lot was surprised. Like I did not like the way it started,
but the ending
was on point.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep, I was clapping. That was
so good. And of course, the last one I want to throw off because Sam, I thought he was gonna say it. We had discussed it before we went on air. High Tension, one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I forgot about High Tension. Yeah,
yeah. I actually watched that off of his previous recommendation, and he didn't tell me there was a plot twist. Otherwise, I wasn't supposed to. Sooner.
I wasn't supposed to. I just told you what it was about to see if you got your attention. It did, and you were pleasantly surprised.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
So that's that. Oh, and Sleepaway Camp, just because the shit is.
Yeah,
that's still funny to me.
That's some trauma.
That's funny to me. It's a boy.
There's a lot of gender identity ones.
Well, I mean, back then it was more of a shock.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Happened. So
I only had two that we didn't, that nobody else mentioned: Arrival and Gone Girl.
Yes, those are good.
Only had one nobody mentioned. So Now You See Me.
Yeah, that was a good one too. That was a good one. Yeah.
Not a great movie. And what's that one movie with James McAvoy and Morgan Freeman?
Glass, Split, and Unbreaking. Unbreakable.
No, Morgan Freeman.
Unbreakable.
Oh, it's Morgan Freeman.
That's the wrong black man.
Damn, you fucking up.
No. But see, honestly, because those were the three.
Was it Wanted?
Yes.
Wanted.
Yes.
With the curved bullet.
My problem with Wanted.
Yeah.
We won't, but it's a Mark Millar comic.
Yeah, it's a Mark Millar thing. That's why he's going to say.
Just don't even go with that movie.
Don't rant. Don't.
I said Wanted.
I know
Looper.
you want to.
Those are my other two.
I didn't like Looper too much. It was all right.
Wanted wasn't.
I'm just saying it had a twist.
It did, but.
Oh, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Close this out, Will.
I have to check that out.
Show us with that. So
please do. Yeah, check that one out, Sam. Check that
All
one
right, so
out.
definitely check out some of these movies and stuff like that, especially the ones that we did not get into the plot twist on. Definitely want you to check those out with that, because those are things that you can really kind of get into and see some of the craziness and stuff that we like to get into with these movies. So that we thank you all for joining us. Again, we've got Sam, Denisha, former protest down there, freaking, and brother Eloise for joining us. So please, you can make sure, if you haven't already, so that hit that like button, hit that subscribe, make sure you ring the notification bell. Definitely check us out in the group and stuff like that, because we will be having conversations about these in the group later on once we post these videos with that. So again, that's all for us. We appreciate you, coming by, and we will catch you later.
Return to the top 5.
Allah. All right. What we doing?